What is going on, guys? Coming to y'all today with episode 4. So I'm gonna try to make this a little bit of a quicker one. Some interesting stories today, without a doubt. Um, all over New York and or all over the country. Some interesting stuff about CNN, and I also did say I was gonna dive into the cost of war analysis today. Gonna take a couple extra days to really try to get that in kind of into something very something digestible for y'all and clear, so I could really um, communicate everything I'm learning from this to y'all. And I'm also gonna actually gonna be touching on another story this week as well. Suggestion from Jed Bricker. We were talking today about some migrations from New York in big cities to a lot of the smaller places around the country in particular. And I've talked in the past with people from Florida and stuff, and um, about how there's like this massive migration of people between Puerto Rico and New York moving into Florida. Something like 900 people a day are going there. So particularly like Central Florida. I know I have family that are kind of moving all around the upper part of Florida because it's crowded and definitely a language barrier for a lot of people out there. And I mean, when you really look at it, like a lot of the people moving down like are going to be black and brown, and the people in those like upper like Florida, like Georgia, like Bible Belt, the people who have lived in like historically white homes, like white neighborhoods and all that stuff, and it's definitely I definitely can understand why people are just like or I don't know. I don't want to say understand why they're afraid, but I mean ignorance is just born from just something you don't know, honestly, and these people just don't know. I don't know. I mean, especially down there, a lot of people. This is new. This is going to be news to them. The next decade is going to be new to them. There are going to be all sorts of people from these probably countries they've never even heard of moving in. So good times, guys. A lot of world's changing. So yeah. So I want to touch on that. I want to touch on kind of what migration around the country, and the history of that, and history of migration during like pandemics. I was reading today that during the bubonic plague, even though people didn't understand exactly why diseases spread in particular, um, they kind of got the gist that like maybe the air is contaminated, or like they like kind of they don't really get you can't really be near people, especially with an infectious disease or without obviously the science that we have the fortune of having in hindsight, even though like people you know fight everything. But yeah, um, yeah, I want to do a little bit of deep dive in that into those two things: cost of war and migration from cities to smaller places. All right, so I guess we're gonna start with some normal stuff for the day. Markets are closed, obviously. Crypto markets, though. So Bitcoin is right at 10,546. Or just right, yeah, which is like a breakout and a half. Um, that chart looks sexy. it is it's I mean hey, markets are popping up. Ethereum 388, up from 360. Right, it was 360 yesterday, right? Damn, it even hit 478. Whoa, okay. No, wow. That was 6 month chart. My bad, guys. That did not hit 378 today. But 388 is pushing to 390 for Ethereum, back and trying to hit 400. It was like four. Yeah, that's what it was. It was 477 when it dropped. Should have been an indication, man, that it was gonna crash because it flew up. Ethereum like launched up. Um, there was one other thing. Was it? Yeah, I think it was earlier today. Um, I know I saw it very clearly in my stocks app on my phone with Bitcoin, but like Um, there was a major squeeze uh, earlier today where there were like some massive like volatility, and like I don't know. I like this. Yeah, it's cool. There's gonna be definitely a crazy fucking uh, breakout. Okay, so Ethereum and Ample finally. Price of Ample right now is 77 cents. Kind of interesting that as Bitcoin kind of shot up, Ample got drained. I guess it's an altcoin, but it's a peculiar altcoin. And yeah, I think for crypto markets that should be enough. Definitely check out Coin Market Cap today. Look at your portfolios. Big breakout. I'm just looking at my own list here. Like Aragon's up 21%, 24 hours. ETHLend up 11%. Um, Basic attention shot up over 25 cents, which is pretty big. Polkadot's 535 and Chainlink's at 1280. Yeah, so keep an eye on this stuff. Chainlink has kind of gone up, but it's been a little quiet. Um, Definitely might be interesting trade if anyone's interested in that. Yeah. So moving on to the weather for tomorrow or today technically. I'm a night owl. It's gonna be 60s the rest of the night. It's gonna be a low at about 60, 63 around 6 in the morning. And it should be a nice day tomorrow. Mid 70s, high to low 70s. So a nice Sunday. Kind of a little cloudy. Sun should be out. Low chance of rain, between 5 and 15% on the day. And I mean Monday. Looks like it's gonna heat up a tad. We might touch 80 on Monday. I feel like I gotta look at the weather, like what the weather was today. I feel like we always touch 80, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. All-time high, the high in the world right now. 119 degrees, Kauai, Salubaya, and Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, Antarctica. It's not that like I don't care about like pronouncing this right, but I just forget to even like look at this until I like go into this podcast. I don't know. Hey, at least it shot up in Amundsen. It was negative 100 like 10 yesterday or something. So I guess the people and animals got to go outside. Negative 80 degrees. It's a beautiful day out there. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so wanted to actually touch on shooting. Jed's another one who kind of shout out Jed. He really showed me some love today with some of these actual stories. So like I don't know if people in Brooklyn, I don't know if y'all been following them, but there've been a couple like shootings. I'm from Bay Ridge, and like there've been some weird shootings in this area. Like a couple weeks ago, there was a guy sitting in a Maserati, and a Beamer just came up to him and just shot him. It was wild. Today on like 78th Street, I want to say, on Diker Heights and 78th and 12th and 13th. This is also, by the way, I just want to point out where a lot of the like All Lives Matter. Actually, I think it is where the All Lives Matter protests happened. Maybe like a month or two back. This summer's been nuts. This summer's just been nuts. I was actually looking at an article that just kind of broke down. If it's open, I will read it out actually. Probably at the end, but yeah, literally 5 in the afternoon, 5:20 p.m. in Diker Heights. Someone just literally so gunfire erupted between three men. One of them was shot in a unique yellow-colored Beamer. I feel like I've seen that Beamer before. Yeah, I mean, this guy got hit. His Beamer. Councilman, he was in the Beamer. He got hit with shots. Crazy. Councilman Justin Brannan took to Facebook, requested increasing patrols in the area. I mean, yeah, whenever stuff like this happens around here, the people in the neighborhood are all like ex-police or actual police. Um, People in this area are like crazy too. Like they'll just find someone and beat the crap out of them, just like some old-fashioned justice, I guess. But um, yeah, like scary stuff, man. Don't flaunt. Um, well, I mean, I don't want to say don't flaunt, but be careful if you flaunt. You know, a lot of people lost a lot of things and are very angry. So definitely, be careful. Even right, like, even in Brooklyn, there's a lot more guns in Brooklyn than you'd even imagine. So let's see what else I have today. Like I said, pretty short episode just because I want to focus tomorrow on like cost of war and migrations. Maybe like later in the week I'll do migrations, but I guess one of the so I want to really focus on like three stories today. So like Bill de Blasio. Okay, so they're like protesting his decision to move. So once like coronavirus started, the shelters in New York weren't necessarily safe. Like obviously, he'd seen a shelter, like you see a movie of a shelter, like um, like your own close quarters for the most part. Um, people are going to be sick. They're homeless. They don't have health insurance, all that stuff. And basically, they started moving people to the hotels, like um, like relocating the homeless people living in the shelters into the hotels around the city. And today he actually announced, like super quickly, that like these people who were in the Lucerne Hotel, in the Upper West Side, had to move down to Harmonia Shelter. Now people in Midtown and the people in Harmonia are like being moved out of like the out of there to other places, and basically like they had to pause it because one of the civil like I don't know, I guess like the rights activist groups, one of the groups in the city threatened to sue, and he like kind of paused it. Um, but so I was reading a little about this, and it looks like he actually is afraid of the people in the Upper West Side who are threatening to sue him and get these people out. But like also simultaneously, like as much as I don't like Bill de Blasio, I just saw Max Rose had a great ad that just called him the worst mayor in New York history, and then said that's it. We're just like, geez, but I don't like the guy, but he gets caught between a rock and a hard place a lot. And the reason I say this is the people on the Upper West Side were acting freaking crazy. Like, so there was a Facebook group that had 14,000 members because called the Upper West Siders for Safe Streets. And they were like talking about beating these people up, kicking them when they were down, throwing them at buses. They were like calling them thugs and scum, and they were telling people to buy wasp spray. It was like a 14,000 member group, and I know someone put a noose up in front of the Lucerne Hotel. So you're kind of like when you're like de Blasio, you end up between two groups that are trying to sue you, and one group has like a group of people that are getting violent and really like have gone and like as a group do not want homeless people in the Upper West Side, which is possibly like the most like rich area in like America, arguably. I mean, I'm talking from like opinion is like hyperbole, but there's like a serious amount of wealth in that like little corner of Manhattan, and I don't know. It seems like again like like God forbid like black people, not even black people, like just people who aren't like or just not like less fortunate who just are trying to make it, and they always paint homeless people out as like these like I don't know thugs is the freaking like white whistle or the dog whistle, um but like really like in reality, man, homeless people are like really normal. They're like restaurant workers. They're like in their mid 20s, like low 30s, 40s. I mean, there's a lot of them mental health problems. Most homeless people are not gonna be violent, and there's just always been this like fear of the sub of these like suburban invasions of like criminals. I don't know. I mean, every day you see it more and more. I think, and like I said, the man's always stuck between a rock and a hard place. People Upper West Side are pretty spoiled, and not everyone. I have friends out there, nice people, but like you're 14,000 people who live there who are like promoting violence. And I mean, I'll go look at the group later. I'm sure not everyone. I'm sure there's tons of people who are like, "What the hell's wrong with you, man?" But um, what the hell's wrong with these like the people promoting violence? But I don't know. Oh yes, I don't know. Teachers unions, and coronavirus. Schools are closed. Obviously, it's Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a weekend. But um, also, one more point about these Upper West Side people. Like, you're angry. Like, most. There's so many analysis that like middle class people and like upper class people like came out richer post coronavirus. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. So anyway, so teachers unions and coronavirus. I guess it's like a little bit older news, but there's a Washington Post article. Just talking about just the just how teachers unions around the world right now are negotiating. I guess trying to negotiate with governments and trying to make things work. Um, I always say teachers aren't paid enough for the work they do. And if they were respected more, we'd have a much smarter populace. Um, I mean, like there are people all over the world. South Africa is the first example they bring. Um, they went to open schools in July. I don't really know what it was like out there. Um, I know America had it really bad. But yeah, so like they're threatening, all these unions around the world are threatening to strike. Um, I remember growing up, not just looking at like schools and stuff. I remember growing up. I mean, there was like a tiny teacher strike a couple times when I was a kid. Um, but like I remember learning about this. I remember like learning about all these different things like gaslighting and like picket lines and forms of protest and the tools leaders use to like trick people and get them to follow them. It's weird to see it just play out like in real life. I wonder what it's like to be a kid and actually just see like maybe one day in class you're talking about like picket lines and like next week your teachers aren't there. Um, Kind of getting a little ahead of myself in terms of the article. Um, but I mean, look, you have people in Detroit, grassroots groups who are opposing policies that have eroded public education, according to the New York this article, Washington Post. Um, Pretty good quote here too. We are now at a crisis moment where we're all over the world. This is Ellen David Friedman of the Labor notes that grassroots organization I was just talking about. We are now at a crisis moment. Where all over the world, people are realizing the centrality of public education. Teachers unions are the last line of defense. She's a yeah yeah. So they're saying here they're observing three trends among organization global affiliates. So like these unions and stuff. Um, so basically what they're saying in around like Argentina, New Zealand, Scandinavian countries, teachers they've been like pretty like cool. They've been able to negotiate with the governments really well. Um, Britain, France, Germany, Greece, and other countries in Europe, very vocal unions who are pushing. France in general, one of my friend's mothers is a teacher, and she was telling me about like the Yellow Jackets and everything going on. And France in particular is always a really good barometer for like Um, I guess like what's gonna happen, and they've been out there like protesting. I think they were told that the teachers couldn't retire until 70 because there just wasn't money in the pension programs. So yeah, I expect to see more of that going forward. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, you see these breakdowns with these teachers all around the world. Um, let's see, in countries, and this final group here is in countries with a history of lack of dialogue and consultation with government, teachers have been more likely to threaten or resort to strikes. Um, Burkina Faso and Mali, very small countries. People were striking for better pay when the virus arrived, so like prior to it, right? In Zimbabwe, I mean Zimbabwe's always been famous for like um, their like inflation and stuff, but um, teachers union actually successfully sued in Zimbabwe to prevent schools from restarting in June. They wanted to restart in June. And then you're looking at countries like Brazil and Chile and Philippines where they're really fighting with the government. And they mention here that something the United States also did was some governments labeled teachers essential workers and they mandated them going into the country. So like it's kind of interesting to see where we are, right? Like we're like in the same place as like some of the worst countries in the world. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, so 1.7 million member American Federation of Teachers has authorized unions nationwide to strike if their demands, including billions of dollars in emergency federal funding to ensure schools are safely equipped, are not met. So they are not playing. The American Federation of Teachers will like go on strike, and they will use all of the tools they have at their disposal. Um, Another article here, actually going into it a little more in depth. Another Washington Post article, just talking a little bit more about this American Federation of Teachers president who said it was fine to strike, but he would like came at Trump and DeVos, said DeVos had no credibility. Um, they are like they're ready to strike. Um, I don't really think you see like the teachers union really go out and say like we don't care, like we're gonna stop. And honestly, this is kind of like the time to, because you have a new administration coming in. After an administration that has not been kind to teachers, has not been kind to social workers in particular, um, like workers who work in like the social field. You know, I think actually, oh yeah, okay. Anyway, so like, um, I mean, this is time to go and pull all the stops and say that if this guy is actually leaving, then like the new person can't come in. You know, who the new person's very famously has said he does not want to change anything fundamentally for people who are rich, right? So you know, he is a Trump, but like he's not very different. I mean, he's aligned in some of the ways that I think that all of our leaders are aligned in terms of anti-union, anti-worker rights, um, and you know maybe they're a little uh, in the name of the bigger picture disconnected from the smaller guy. Um, and final story for well, I think final point there is just like I don't know. I mean, look, this is this is the time. Go and go all in. Go all in. I am very vocally saying that like the education system does not work unless you have students. Unless you okay, so unless you have like 11, 12, 13 year olds, even younger, even older, are gonna buy in to this education, and not everyone's gonna buy in. I know I didn't always buy in, so um, and, it's gonna it hurts students that don't even realize it, and I see I think I definitely wish I had bought in more. Um, but to my point is that the numbers show that you don't really even remember much of anything you learn in college. Or, I mean, in school. Like, I think as you're younger, you remember more, but you remember like the basic things like math, reading, etc. But as you get older, like, I mean, you talk to like a 50-year-old, they're probably gonna tell you they don't remember jack shit from what they learned when they were a kid, or they're just gonna like just spew something that's just incorrect, or they're gonna realize that what they learned then wasn't true or something. So, um, yeah, I mean, look, education system doesn't work. Turning it into Zoom calls or TV isn't gonna be better, honestly. So this is time to reform it, time to blow it up, time to blow it up. And yeah. So all right, final story today. The kind of like controversial ish story because like it's based off like some leak audio that um, Tucker Carlson released on his show where okay, it's like this is like a really sorry before I even dip into this point, I kind of want to say something about Tucker Carlson. So the story is about how uh, CNN had Jeff Zucker, like he was having like these private conversations like with Michael Cohen and I believe Cuomo was part of some of them, not like Andrew Cuomo, but his brother. And they were like talking about giving Donald Trump like his own show if like he didn't win. Um, Seemed like the president. This is Jeff Zucker is the president of CNN, and Michael Cohen is Donald Trump's former attorney, or a personal attorney. He's like main fixer guy. Um, but like he so before I like dip into this is the problem with Tucker Carlson. If you look at this article, if you, like, you look at the story and you really look for it, um, you're not gonna like even find like I don't even think you're gonna find a CNN article about it, which is this whole separate thing. But it really shows like if you're gonna be the most like watched television show, watch like cable news show, like news. I say with like a real question, like quotation there. Like you like can't if you have such a bad reputation and you're like the most watched show on cable news that you can't even get like anybody beyond the My Pillow guy to run an ad on your show, and then you actually do whip out like something like of value, um, uh, which is this like article where the president of CNN, I mean, like they're even saying like he gave tips to Donald Trump. The particular thing was like he gave it to his lawyer. He was saying like if they're gonna call you a con man, like just say you're like a con man, make it your name, right? He's talking about like a CNN like he's like giving tips to this guy for like a CNN debate. Um, and I mean, looking here, they have a relationship for a long time. He gave Donald Trump his show, The Apprentice. Um, and like I mean, here even this is in a New York Mag article. Um, Tucker Carlson like criticizes Zucker for providing inside tips on how to navigate CNN debate from the head of CNN. But like they're saying Carlson has like advised Trump's like on all sorts of things that probably aren't appropriate for him to advise him on. Um, like it says like half his article is going to be criticizing Carlson, so he hasn't even done himself his own favors. A B like this is a bad thing. This is a bad thing that the head of CNN basically like is damaging. He's doing damage. Like if it wasn't even like they gave him so much like coverage, right? Um, of all like so much coverage, and anyone knows. I think Donald Trump even like made this famous or something like all coverage is good coverage, right? Like he knows it. They know it. This guy's CNN head. Like he knows exactly how it happens when like a story's run. Like right, like he knows. Um, and he did it on purpose. He's like kind of if it's not Donald Trump, like it's gonna be someone even worse than him in the future. And if you have this guy here who's just totally fine with just putting damaging people on TV and let them talk on TV and stuff, right? Like it's not like that's not fucking good. That's just as damaging anything. So, oh yeah, so I guess we're just gonna end this let's end this podcast here on this note that this is this is like just this is I don't know what's gonna happen a couple years this year and let's see I think Biden's like ahead. I don't think anyone's excited for a Biden presidency. But I don't know. Like this guy, this Jeff Zucker guy, man, it's I don't know. It's not right. Let's see if any other news came out about this today that I might have missed. I don't want to like, and also like, oh no, actually no, yeah, no, I don't even see a CNN article about this. I don't see a Wall Street Journal article. Um, and mostly Washington Post. Even Washington Post ran an article. They just kind of attacked Carlson. Um, I will say though, they also didn't mention that this is kind of a weird tape because like supposedly like according to Cohen, which I don't even really believe this guy, but like according to him, he says that like no one has these tapes, but like Trump and like yeah. So like also another quote here. This is like what he said to Michael Cohen, right? This is Zucker talking to Cohen. I've got to be careful. I just don't want him talking about it on the campaign trail. Zucker can be heard saying to Cohen, "You know what? I'm gonna give him a call right now. I'm gonna wish him luck in the debate tonight. I have all these proposals for him. Like I want him to do a weekly show with him and all this stuff. Um, like they don't like this guy doesn't care about like America. Um, like yeah, not really. Kind of just cares about the bottom line. I want to finally just grab this last thing I was saying before about um how like only Trump and Cohen and the Trump organization and the Department of Justice is these are the only people who are saying who like who have this tape. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Take that for what you for it is. I mean, I would not be surprised if this was also leaked by like Trump to like kind of make CNN look hypocritical or delegitimize them, which is like if it wasn't Trump saying it, I already like yeah, CNN's trash. So I don't know. That's all I got today, guys. World's kind of burning, but yeah. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy the show. I hope you guys listened to my interview from yesterday with my mom. Really enjoyed that one. Really cool for her to go and like put herself out like that. I know she was nervous about it, but yeah, I hope you listened to it. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool story for you guys. I hear it all the time, so maybe I can get some other people on the show in the future, and maybe not even just my family. I'll be still do some like Twitter searching. So thank you again, and love and respect. Good night. Good night.